This is a very special vlog in which I want to step through the creative process with you guys and take you through the journey of what it's like to create one of my email notes lately. And so today, let's do some hand lettering. As a part of the email newsletter, there is a quote, which I want to kind of convert into a graphic that's shareable. I make these shareable graphics inside of each of the notes, so if people are inspired by the things that I'm writing, they can push them along to their friends and people that are in their social network. So the quote from today is, "Find what you love and let it kill you." This is a quote that's probably incorrectly attributed to the poet Charles Bukowski. So what we're going to do is we're going to try some hand lettering. I've bought this brush pen last week, and there we are. It's really fun. It's just an ink pen that has a brush nib on it. It's just like, basically, you can imagine it's an India ink brush, paintbrush inside of a pen. I've been messing around with this brush for the past week or so, and it's made its way already into a few of the things that I've published. For example, this podcast cover image right here. I tweeted out this graphic here, which was just a fun exercise, and we're going to do something similar to that right now. So the first part in our journey of this creative exercise is to make a plan. So we're gonna put the brush pen aside right now, and we're gonna start with this. This is a pencil, just a regular clicky pencil. Nothing special about it. And we're going to explore a few layout ideas. And you've probably seen me do something similar in both the Design and Code, my personal website series, and how to build a responsive website from start to finish. In both of those series, I start out with sketching. And sketching, like, no matter what you're doing, even if you're creating music, a sketch is just a low fidelity prototype. It's just a rendering of an idea that will help you and guide you through the struggle of creating the high fidelity things later on. And the goal of the sketch is to create a few explorations quickly so that you can find a good idea fast. So with that in mind, I'm going to switch over to my hands, and we're going to start sketching a few compositions of the phrase, "Find what you love and let it kill you." So here's my paper, and I'm just gonna divide it into just 6 quick sections. All right, pretty easy. So each of these 6 quadrants roughly represents, a sheet of paper or the workspace that I'm going to have for my final illustration, and I can just make 6 quick ideas here for the composition. So the phrase is, "Find what you love and let it kill you." So let me just start up here and write out the phrase, "Find what you love and let it kill you." Okay, now I've written out the phrase not because this is going to be a part of my composition, it's kind of outside, but it's the reference for the material. And when I'm looking at this phrase, I can see that there's a few important there's a hierarchy of ideas here, right? Some words are more important than others in here. So I'm just going to underline the important words. Love is going to be an important word, and kill is going to be the 2 most important words here. Love and kill, because these are contrasting ideas, and the contrasting ideas are so important in this turn of the phrase. There's a few other ideas here. Let's say you and you are some repetitive ideas, and there's another idea of here is finding something, which is like an active effort on your part, and letting something, which is a passive effort on your part for to have a desired outcome. So this is a really great phrase. There's so much depth into the way that this phrase is constructed. There's so many patterns, and just I don't know. I just really love this idea here. Finding, letting, you and you, two mirrored images, but in each one they have a different outcome, because one of them is what you love, and the other one is letting that thing kill you. So the mirror is flipped right there, because well, just as I said earlier, the thing that you're doing is active here, and the thing that you are doing here is passive, but you're dying here and you're loving here. So I just can't say enough how much this phrase just is so beautiful. All right, so as we've said, the most important words here are love and kill. Those are the two big ideas here, and then there's a few other supporting words here too. So find, and we can also say that the mirror happens right around here. So I'm going to put in a little divide here between love and. So there's the mirroring element right there. So love is a huge keyword, and kill is a huge keyword. And I can actually marry the idea of kill you together, because kill you is kind of a phrase. Even though kill is the big idea, kill you is kind of a good chunk right there. So let's just get working on our composition. After we've kind of dissected what are the strong points of this phrase, we can kind of get into how do we build out that phrase into a good composition. So, well, the obvious thing is just to say the string of find what you, and then a big LOVE, and let it, big KILLYOU. Right? That's probably the most obvious route right now. And the most YOU, the most obvious route is not bad. It's not a bad thing to go the obvious route. But the wonderful thing about sketching is it's forcing us to get that idea out of the way and say, okay, obviously this is what we want to be, like this is the obvious thing that would be the first thing that would come to your mind. But now we have to force our mind to go in 6 different directions, and that's why sketching is so great. Okay, so here's another idea. We have this first section here is find what you love, and then the mirror happens here, this break, let it kill you. So let's kind of focus more on this break this time. Let's say a big capital F, and then a IND. See, and also pay attention that right now I'm not focusing on my penmanship, because actually I don't have great penmanship. What I'm doing is focusing on the construction and relationship of these words. Find what you love, and I'm going to do like a big E. So the big F and the big E form 2 kind of bookends to this kind of graphic that we're going to make. Find what you love, and then I'll do a little, basically just recreating this next block here, and let it kill you. So the find and the love here are making bookends of the idea, and then kill you is like the kind of the center of the idea. I like that less, but that's good. It's good that we're discovering these things. Now, I just got to say, and this is the middle of the video, I should have said this at the top, I'm not a letterer. That's never been a thing that I've done before. I only bought this brush pen like a week ago and just been really excited about it, and I've gone through a few ink capsules, and that's kind of the only experience I have. But the experience and the knowledge of these design principles of doing rough prototypes and sketching, they all come into place here. All right. Find and let. Let's take this next opportunity to explore the ideas of finding and letting. So why don't we do a big F again, find what you love, find what you, big find, and this will be like a little bit more fluid, like calligraphy style. Find what you love, big love, and then and let it, a big K, kill you. Not really happy with that either. This is like a little bit more not thought out. You'd see this kind of like every word is emphasized. I'm not too much of a fan here. Let's see. How can we say find and let? Find what you love. What if I had, this is weird. Here's a weird idea, but like, what if I had a big love, and then I had kind of like a scratched out kind of like area, and then in the area was a negative, find what you. Now, I don't think this would work with just my tools right here, because I don't have a white brush pen. I don't have any, so I'd have to like do some like compositing in Photoshop. But this is interesting. So like a love with scratched out, and it says find what you, and then a big kill you, and then the same kind of treatment here below, and it says and let it. That's an arrow. I can't really show you this really that well in the graphic. It would be more like this. It would be more like this. I'll show you right down here. Okay, so let's find what you, and then that's like in a, imagine this is knockout. It's a black scratch graphic, and white lettering, and then it says LOV E. Does that make more sense? It's kind of cool, but I don't think that's going to be really doable. Because with the brush pen, all it does is give you black and white. It doesn't give you this layering of knockout. I mean, unless I drew, nah, I don't want that. Okay, let's think about the tool that I have, and it lends itself really well to calligraphy. So what if it's more of a wide block as well? So let's say find what you love. And then look at like some type of graphic divide. Maybe it's a heart. And a rule. And let it kill you. That's interesting. You know what's interesting is that these two key terms of love and kill you are easily represented by graphics. So you have this heart, which is obviously love, but we also have another graphic here, which could be like a little skull, right? So I wonder if there's a way to work in these two graphics here. Maybe we just put them on the top and bottom. Okay, so let's take this composition. I mean, to be honest, I still love the obvious one, right? It's got a big love, got a big kill you, got a little string on top, little string on top. It's pretty good. So what if we take that graphic and put it on top? It's a heart, and it says find what you love. And then and let it kill you. and then there's a little skull. What do you think about that? Find what you love and let it kill you. I think that's pretty good. I mean, it's just the same thing as this one, except for adding some graphics on it. But as I said, like sometimes the obvious one here is not the worst one. What that did, okay, even if we look over our process here, starting here, going down like this, you can see it. Not only are we getting new ideas and looking at new angles, we're crossing things off our list, right? This idea wasn't a bad idea, but the execution is pretty poor and it's not very developed. Maybe there's still something there, but I'm not going to follow it. Now this one here was more of like, I wanted it to feel like something you'd write on a chalkboard or see kind of something, I don't know, like a little bit more free-flowing. It didn't really work out. This one is a really good idea, but the problem is the tools that I'm using, it's not really a good fit for the medium. And then we started along this idea of using the graphics and bringing that idea of the graphics back into our original layout idea. I think it works the best. Let's do something like that. All right, so now that we have our thumbnail, like our composition of what we want to try to do, we're going to spend some time working with just some brushing and see what we can kind of generate in terms of, well, basically we're going to have to do a lot of brushing now. This is the thing that you may not realize when you see somebody's finished work, is that they don't, well, there's a lot of crap that goes into good work. So what I want to do right now is kind of show you my crap. Okay, so this is crazy and ridiculous and not looking good at all. And that's fine. You can see that the margins here that we've kind of like tried to keep are like way out. So this one is way out here. We've got another one right here, got another one right here, and then another one right here. Like, I really need to work on the pacing of these letter forms to get them all to line up well. That was a lot harder than I thought it would be. And I'm not a fan of the like the kind of the mock serifed like handwriting up here, the all caps writing. So let's give it another try. Let's just start again right here on the edge. So right now I'm just practicing the K because I don't really have a good construction for that single letter yet. K has a lot of sharp edges compared to the L, which is a lot of flowing features. So it's got to be done right. Hello? Uh-huh. Where are you? Okay, see you in a minute. So I've had a hard time with the K. The K has not been feeling right to me, but I've stumbled across this one right here. And it's interesting because this K is very quick brush strokes, and it informs the rest of the letter set really well. I want to experiment with that a little bit more, so I want to start seeing, this is interesting. So I could do like a calligraphic and let it right above it, and have love be the same brushy type as this. So let me pull in another piece of paper here and use that as the inspiration for the next few bits. Let me just practice kill and love you, or no, kill you and love a little bit more like that. Okay, I don't think this is perfect, but I think it has a lot of good things going for it. Some things that are wrong with it are that this love is obviously the heaviest thing. Kill you has a lot more characters than 4. Has 3 extra characters, a whole nother word. So, but I need to make it taller even still. But this is a really good start. I'm really happy with this idea. That was just quite a mess up. But, all right, let's just move over here and start again. I think we're getting close though. I think we're getting close. Let's try again. All right, this is it. This is the money. Do it. Okay, go. Find what you love and let it kill you. All right, is this perfect? It's not. Is it so late in the morning that I'm going to use it anyway? It is. All right, so we've got the lettering piece that we're going to do. Next, I'm going to photograph it and then probably take it into Photoshop and realign some letters. It looks like my skull is like off center a little bit and a few things that could be better. But in general, I'm kind of happy with this. And it's just far too late. I need to get this newsletter out. Okay, so we're out of the garage, back in the house. I have this photo still that we took of the illustration. Let's drag it into Photoshop and see what we can work with here. Okay, the first thing I notice about this photograph is that it is entirely too dull, right? But that's okay. We can sort that out. So let's make a curves adjustment here and start clipping in the white right away. Here's the curves there. And clipping in the black. And we're just going to adjust these curves a little bit more and more and more until we just start beefing up this contrast. So where it's mostly just white on black and not have any grays in there. Not too many. Looks pretty good. Okay. So now that we have this curves layer on top of it, we're just kind of boosting up the contrast. And this is just a black and white image, so actually, let's go ahead and put a black and white filter on it, just so we can make sure that there's no colors going to seep through when we're doing the final stages. Okay, the next thing I notice about this, so I'm going to duplicate the background by hitting Control-J, just so we can have like the original is there still. The first thing I notice about this is that the alignment is off, right? So this should kind of like line up together, but it doesn't. It's not too bad, except for kill you is kind of way out there, isn't it? So let's put a marquee around kill you and just press Command T and just transform it down a little bit. Right about there. Let's drag out some guides from our ruler. So I'm going to press Command R and get a ruler and then just drag out from the side to get some guides. Okay. It's still a little bit much. Let's transform it a little bit more. Oops, it didn't clip the top there. Didn't include the top of that U. Okay, transform it down a little bit more. All right, I hope that's not too bad in screwing up the scale of things. And you know, these are just little hand letterings, so we could do things like that. And it's not going to be perceivable to the, to the viewer. Now let's take this bottom graphic and move that around right about there, cinch it up. I think that looks pretty good. All right, let's get rid of these rules and I'm going to grab some sampling from the background and just start painting in the, oof. That's pretty bad. All right, it's not going to be bright white. What I'm going to do is I'm going to select all of these areas that have, actually, I'm going to make a new layer below these things and paint it just like with some like obvious color so I could see where the problems are. Now all these pink layers, I should make that even more apparent, dark red. Now all this dark red area are the kind of like background that resulted in me chopping and moving around things. So I want to clear this up. So I'm going to go to the chopped up layer and grab all of the red. Now I'm going to hit Command Shift question mark. Command Shift question mark, by the way, is the best shortcut in every app. It just opens help. And help is great because it can search the menus. I use this so much, I don't even know where in the menus a lot of these commands are. So I'm just going to type in fill, and there it is. Brilliant, right? So content aware fill. Now what content aware fill is going to do, it's going to sample what's around it and use that to fill it in. So why am I not just using bright white? Because the image is not bright white itself. It's got some grayness to it. The clipping or the curves that we didn't knock out all of the gray. So let's hit OK, and this should, cross your fingers. There you go. It did a pretty good job of filling it in. I think it made a mistake down here with the skull, but that's nothing we can't clean up. Let's grab it with an L. This is the lasso tool. And then come over here to, what's this tool called? The patch. I don't know the names of these things. Okay. Patch tool. Okay. That's good. That's good enough. Turn back on our layer adjustments. And that's pretty good. I'm noticing these big haloing around the skull. I don't like it. So let's try to get rid of that. Make a new layer above it. Grab my paintbrush. Bigger and softer brush this time. Grab the sampling that I do want and kind of like try to fade in like this. There you go. Now even if the color is not the same, it's going to be, I'm going to knock it down to 50% as well, so I'm not brushing completely over everything. Even if these colors don't match completely, there's going to be a softer edge on the transition to the colors in the background, which means they're going to be less noticeable. Okay, so here we are, the finished graphic of find what you love and let it kill you. First I'm going to group it, and then I'm going to press Command J to duplicate, and then I'll press Command E to flatten. So now we can turn off all of the work we've done, and we just have a flat image here. Now the next thing I want to do is go find some stock photography. I'm going to go to the stocks.im, and then we can just kind of go down here. Unsplash is always good, and just find some good, like weird, kind of like abstract but meaningful idea. Remember, the theme is finding what you love and letting it kill you. So the theme is death and love. See if we can't find anything in here that kind of like just hints at the idea. Ooh, this is good, but not perfect. This is interesting. Somebody kind of looking out into the world. It's beautiful, but also somber, which kind of is death and love. It's pretty good, pretty good. You know, this is trees, beautiful nature, but it also like it's kind of dead wood. It's winter. It's pretty interesting, but it's black and white. Let's put I'm going to open that in a new tab so I can just kind of keep that as a thumbnail, or keep that as a bookmark. Scrolling down. Well, that's interesting. Let's bookmark that one as well. I think that one's interesting because it doesn't make sense. I don't know what it is. Okay, so let's take that flat image here that we just made and then kind of just drop it right on top here. Now we're going to shrink it down, and then we're going to have to multiply it to get rid of the white. And that's pretty interesting, right? Because the image itself is beautiful, right? They've got the rays of light piercing through the top of the water, which symbolizes like life and hope. But also the girl here, the model, is in a very, I don't know how to say this, but like a morose pose, right? It looks like she's being bent in a way that is maybe uncomfortable. Maybe there's like some type of piercing that's kind of happening right here, going this way and making her body arch out in a way that's uncomfortable to her. It's a very interesting idea. So, okay, now what we have here is the calligraphy is black and white, but it's black lettering on top of white background. So using multiply knocks out the white pretty well here. Let's use screen, which does the reverse. It knocks out the black and lets the white stand still. And that's cool. But what I want to do is invert the colors here and just keep that just to the black. Okay, so now we have white lettering on top of, does that make sense what I just did? Okay, so what I did is I inverted the color, so I have white lettering on black background, and then setting the graphic to screen knocks out the black and lets what's behind it show through the black. So we have white lettering on top of this image. Now I want to go to this image and do a gradient map. This might not work that well. Let's cancel that. I'm going to create a new layer on top and then just fill it with anything. It's the default gray that I had already selected. And double click, go down here to fill and turn that all the way down. And then go to gradient overlay. Okay, I already had this purple and pink created, but purple and pink is an interesting, like kind of hipster-ish, kind of like summer feel to it. I wonder if we can change this purple to like a bluish, nice blue here, and then reverse these, make the blue come from the top. There we are. So like the sun is giving us the blue. Yeah, like that. Make that stronger. There we are. All the way up. So the blend mode is overlay, opacity all the way up to 100. And I have, if I don't, let's see. If I turn that blend mode off, you're just going to see this is the gradient that's behind it, which actually kind of looks good on its own. Let's put the blend mode to overlay, so it's going to punch up what's behind it a little bit. And then let's make a new layer, put it behind the background, and make it black. So if I turn these other layers off, you can see it's just a black background. Now the reason I did this is so I could knock out the opacity of this a little bit. I'm going to use my number keys. 8 is 80%, 7, 6. And I'm going to tab through these, and what I want to do is showcase the lettering, of course, right? And let me duplicate the color a little bit. So now those colors are really popping. I'll use the opacity on that a little bit. Turn those colors down a little bit. Okay, so I've got two gradients on top of each other using overlay blend mode, which is causing those colors to just saturate themselves quite a bit. And it's on top of a black and white photograph, which if I turn all these other layers off, you can see I've knocked it down to 50% opacity on black, right? So this is the original. That's what I've knocked it down to. Adding some gradient, adding the text, and then knocking out the black of the reversed color text. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Find what you love and let it kill you. I think that's interesting. I think this is good. All right, so I'm going to put this all into a group, and then I'll duplicate it and explore a little bit more here. whole thing. Number 2 is you can see her shoulder and head tilted back. And number 3 is more focused on like her hips and her hand and her legs and like the arc of her body. If I'm going to be honest, I'm a fan of number 1 the most. It's just so weird, and I like how you can see the light coming in and make it being like the balance of love and death below, life above, death below. I think I'm happy here. Now I gotta save this out and include it into the email newsletter that I'm doing now, and with a button that says click here, and hopefully if I can, what time is it now? 4:30 in the morning? Hopefully if I can wrangle this whole video together and send out the newsletter by the next hour and a half. I don't know if this is gonna happen, but you should be able to click on the button, share the image, and then be able to watch this video early. That's the plan. Let's see if it can happen. But I'm gonna end the video here, and thanks for being up early in the morning. We've been up and at it since 2 a.m. Is that true? No, since 1 a.m. And this is good. This is good. I'm really happy that you're here with me doing this. Next step is to import all the assets and start editing things in Final Cut so I can get this video ready to go out in a few hours. I think I'm gonna have to cut the video here because how am I gonna edit when I'm still recording? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So anyway, keep on hacking, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next week with more whatevers. Bye!